Hello and welcome. Sorry, the Hindu editorial topic for today is Beirut battered. The topic is quite simple. Battered stands for uh, destruction, injury, injury due to blows, due to explosions, a kind of devastation, you can say. So, Beirut devastated. This is the topic. Actually, there was a massive explosion, uh, and that explosion destroyed roughly half of the Beirut city. It was massive. It had impacts in the radius of 40 kilometers. So it was quite massive and comparable to nuclear explosion. Let us go ahead with the subtopic. Blast worsens Lebanon's situation as it fights political, economic, and health emergencies. So, the subtopic gives uh, a, a, a picture of what is happening in Lebanon, and to those happenings, what has been added by this explosion, and the expected devastation it has brought about. Sorry. So it says that the blast has worsened Lebanon's situation, the situation of Lebanon that is already there has been deteriorated further by this blast. And what was that? The Lebanon situation was poor in political development, poor in economic development, and had health emergencies as well. The health emergency is is being faced by the whole world in view of the pandemic, COVID pandemic. So the health emergency is understood. What else? The economic and political emergencies are to be looked into this passage. So let us go ahead with the passage. The devastating blast in Central Beirut on Tuesday. It is speaking about this Tuesday. Today is Thursday. Tuesday that killed 135 people and wounded 4,000 has once again, this is important, has once again turned the spotlight on a city that had in the past survived civil wars, sectarian violence, foreign interventions, and terrorist attacks. Now, these are the issues which the city had been facing. And in addition to that, this devastating blast has come about just 2 days ago. This is the summary of for the whole passage that is likely to go ahead. So, what are the issues? The civil wars. The civil wars are resentment of civilians, of citizens of a country against the government. This is civil war. So the government had faced agony of its citizens in Lebanon. Sectarian violence. What is sectarian? The sectoral, the factions of the country, they had some kind of violence among themselves. So that is sectarian violence. Foreign interventions. foreign interventions refers to uh, interception by some foreign country in the mm, in the matter of politics, in the matter to justify peace over there, that had crept due to civil wars and sectarian violence. So this is foreign intervention into the matter. Looking at the disturbance in the country on door-to-door basis, foreign interventions happen, and we have all we have had experiences, similar experiences in so many other places like Afghanistan or Iraq and so on. So this was the thing that happened in Lebanon, and terrorist attacks by terrorists. So these were the issues which Lebanon was facing, and amid those issues, devastating blast has worsened the situation. Okay, so this is the pronoun that killed 135 people, killed 135 people, which killed 135 people, the devastating blast. So that refers to devastating blast. See, I may miss indicating some of the pronouns of passage, but you keep in mind that if a pronoun is there, the words ahead of the pronoun, like this, killed 135 people, give the answer as to what it is related to. So here, these words killed 135 people makes that relate to devastating blast or simply the blast. Okay, while there is no dearth of conspiracy theories, the initial assessment of government is that the blast was caused by the detonation of more than 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate that had been stored in a warehouse at Beirut port after it was confiscated from a cargo ship 6 years ago. So, this is the story in a summary. It says that there is no lack of, dearth of means lack of, there is no lack of, it means there is abundant conspiracy theories going on behind this blast. So the conspiracy theories are already there. Speaking a lot about the blast, the initial assessment of government was done, and it was found that 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate that was kept in a storehouse or warehouse exploded, and that caused the damage or the blast. The warehouse is located at Beirut port, and the ammonium nitrate was confiscated, something that was seized by authorities and put in the warehouse 6 years ago from a cargo ship. So this ammonium nitrate stock was a confiscated lot, and it was put by the authorities in a warehouse 6 years ago, and it was confiscated from a cargo ship. So this is a nutshell of the story. And the first observation, the prima facie observation, officially the initial explosion ignited a fire. So the first explosion initiated a fire. A fire began with the first explosion, while the second one was more devastating, and a mushroom cloud of smoke and fire enveloping the capital's skyline and its shock waves battering buildings across the city and wounding thousands. So, what happened next after this blast? is being given over here. It says that the first explosion brought out fire, and second one was devastating, giving a mushroom cloud. Now, this mushroom cloud is something very special, and I have downloaded a picture of this mushroom cloud. Let us go and see it. This is mushroom cloud. This is mushroom cloud. This cloud, this cloud gives the size of explosion. The more is the size of explosion, the more is the size of this cloud. This cloud is formed not with small blasts, but with massive blasts like nuclear blasts, and it has far reaching impacts. This cloud is called mushroom cloud. So formation of a mushroom cloud in itself is a proof that devastation was massive. So, officials say the initial explosion ignited fire, while the second one was more devastating, with a mushroom cloud of smoke and fire enveloping, enveloping, covering, surrounding fire, surrounding the capital's skyline, the sky over the capital, and its shock waves battering buildings, destroying the buildings across the city, and wounding thousands. So this was something that happened after the blast. Officials have said they would investigate any potential terror angle, while Prime Minister Hassan Daib has promised to bring all those responsible for this catastrophe to justice. Now, this massive destruction is kind of a catastrophe, and the term is better suited over here. So, the Prime Minister has promised to bring culprits to justice if there is something else, some kind of conspiracy over there, or some illegal or terrifying action by any faction or any group of people. US President Donald Trump has called it an attack. Now, Trump has a comment that it is not an accident, it is an attack. The magnitude of the blast and the level of destruction it caused in one of the busiest areas of capital city suggests that the casualties would be higher. Now, the kind of destruction, the kind of blast picturized suggests that casualties, the deaths could be higher. Beirut's healthcare system is struggling to fight the COVID-19 pandemic, is already stressed, is already under pressure of overwork. The healthcare system of Beirut is under pressure of overwork due to COVID pandemic. Coping with the aftermath of the blast itself would be an uphill task. So adjusting with or addressing to the blast victims would be a difficult task for the country's beleaguered government. Beleaguered stands for something that is in difficult situation. So the government is in difficult situation, and for that government, it would be difficult to handle this job of taking care of the blast victims. The blast could not have come at a worse time for Lebanon. Now, this is a way of writing it. It has a simple meaning that the blast has occurred at a very bad time in Lebanon. The conditions were very bad, and further Worse cannot be imagined for Lebanon. This is the message. In recent years, it has been battling with one crisis or another. So it this gives a picture of series of crises that Lebanon has been facing in the recent past. Now, what are they? Be it political instability, a crumbling economy, or the pandemic. So these are the things which the Lebanon, which the government has been facing in the recent past. Massive street protests that broke out in Beirut and elsewhere last year against corruption and government's inability to provide even basic services to citizens paralyzed government further, leading to Prime Minister Saad Hariri's resignation. So this is about political instability. There was massive corruption, and the government was just not able to give basic amenities to citizens. And so the protests, the street protests, uh, broke out. The protest by civilians broke out, and this led to resignation of the then Prime Minister Saad Hariri. The new government's immediate priority was to fix the economy. So the new government came up, and the first thing it had, the first task it had, repair those missing things which for which the previous government was punished. But the economy is still in free fall. It means that even currently the economy is in free fall. What is free fall? Free fall refers to a sharp fall in GDP, a sharp devaluation of the country of a nation against any foreign currency, and the prices or the inflation that goes too high. So let us see what the passage says. Prices of essential goods are high. This is inflation. Foreign currency is scarce. Foreign currency is almost not available because the prices of those currencies have gone very high, and the GDP is expected to contract 12% this year according to the International Monetary Fund. So IMF says that GDP is expected to contract by over 12% this year. So this is economic trouble. This is economic trouble. Residents of Beirut are also struggling with long power outages, power shortage, power cuts, which which are delaying even the rescue efforts after the blast. So power cut is an essential thing, and in the lack of which the rescue effort is being hampered. On the southern border, tensions between Israel and Hezbollah are on the rise, with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu warning of military action. So, the Israeli Prime Minister is warning for military action on the southern border where the tension is between Israel and Hezbollah. If Lebanon was already on its knees amidst all these crises, the blast would most likely break its back. So, economical backbone breakage is being spoken of over here. This military action, any military action has a high cost, and it is always worldwide. It is detrimental to growth. The total money flow moves in just one direction, and that is defense. It has rendered hundreds of thousands homeless and would deepen the country's economic woes as one of its main ports has been destroyed. So, Beirut port was one of the main ports, and the explosion has destroyed the port completely. It has flattened the port, you can say. The immediate focus should be on rescuing the wounded and getting the city back on its feet. So, this is the first thing. expected from the government. All stakeholders from the Sunni parties to Shia Hezbollah should work together. So this is a kind of suggestion that everyone in the country, whether they were not friends earlier, should work together to sort out this problem. Other countries in the region as well as international institutions should offer help to Beirut to withstand this moment of catastrophe. This is also a suggestion that not only the inhabitants of that country but also the international institutions come up with help to tide over this difficult time by Lebanon. So this is the story where I have tried to explain almost everything. I would request you to like and subscribe this channel, and also the link. Subscribe to this link, the Telegram channel for PDF and other things. Thank you.